What's up, you beauties? As you know, Amazon is sponsoring the channel for the next couple of months, so make sure to go ahead and check out their app store in the links down below. You can get up to 20% off your purchases if you purchase through the Amazon App Store using their coins. So make sure to check the description and check the linked video to see how to go ahead and use that setup guide. It's extremely easy and it helps the channel out a bunch, so I appreciate you guys checking that out. And now let's go ahead and get into the video. What is up, you beauties? My name is BatchatBegins and welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at two of the fastest tanks at tier 7. That is the Dracula and the new Battle Pass tank. Well, not Battle Pass tank. I suppose it actually was the birthday reward tank, the Kunstpanzer. If you were able to get this tank, man, let me tell you, it is definitely a solid tank. And I'll be comparing the strengths of the two tanks in this video today. The biggest thing about the Dracula, the thing that makes it so overpowered is its ability to reposition. It is so unbelievably fast and good on acceleration, having a 41 power to weight ratio, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And with that, it also has a special track mechanic where if it gets tracked at all, it instantly repairs the track. So this thing can never be perma-tracked, which is just insane. It's a great mechanic, and it's sort of overpowered in my opinion. But the Kunz has a lot going for it as well, as we'll see in the second game. The big thing about the Dracula is just knowing when to reposition and picking your targets as efficiently as you can. Obviously, some of the more deadly tanks on the enemy team being those tier 8s, and one of the most deadly tier 8s, of course, is that Progetto 46. But of course, we're just going to be taking opportunity shots where we can here, but trying to focus on taking the most deadly tanks out as early as we can. Now, we got shot for 300 from somewhere on the left. It probably was the Tiger. I think he snapshotted, but right now, that 46 is being aggressive, trying to take out our M3O, so our biggest priority here is to try to put some damage into him and kill him as quickly as we can. Now, of course, this tank pairs very nicely with a tank like my platoon mate has, the T-71, something that can go ahead and clip and take out enemies, you know, put a lot of damage in so a tank like this can go ahead and finish them off. Obviously, we don't want to be taking any shots from the Annihilator. We're just trying to bait him with the oversized track that is on each side of this vehicle, but he doesn't take the bait, which is a little bit unfortunate. Our team is dying very quickly here, so we just have to find a way. We have to find a way to isolate one tank. And at this moment, I was trying to decide on whether or not that should be the Annihilator or the Gravedigger, but it looks like the Gravedigger is the only one who's truly isolated from his team. So, with the Annihilator going to go ahead and finish off our last remaining heavy tank on our team, we're going to go ahead and put some pressure on this Gravedigger. We might end up trading some health, but the important thing is that we go ahead and get this tank, you know, sent back to garage as quickly as possible. So, just going ahead, putting on the adrenaline, showing that great power to weight ratio, being able to get around, but the Gravedigger can traverse this turret rather quickly. It doesn't have a ton of DPM though, so we are taking advantage of that as much as we can. And as you can see, the T-71 was easily able to clean up the remaining hit points of that tank. So, two very dangerous tanks left. Obviously, this tank has a pretty solid gun, very decent AP, and a very good amount of APCR pen. So, at this point, we're just trying to decide where we want to flank. You know, our tank's strengths are that we can reposition and that we can take advantage of the enemy's flank. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep our Panther alive as long as possible so that potentially he can do a bit more damage. And we're trying to make use of our mobility so that we can go ahead and get around the Tiger and the Annihilator and make their armor pointless. As you can see, this tank just zips around the battlefield. We've been to the heavy side, we've been to the medium side, and now we're already in their spawn. And I didn't think the Annihilator had seen me yet, but he had. He goes ahead and shoots us once. And I'm trying to stay low because obviously the Tiger is looking in my direction, and we want to save as much of our hit points as we can. We are a one clip for the Annihilator, so we're just trying to avoid him as much as possible here. As you can see, just a great power to weight ratio. He is barely able to see our turret, but he only hits us with one shell, meaning we are able to go ahead and finish him off. Now at this point, we're sort of a coin flip of a roll for the Tiger 2, and he is looking at us, so we have to play in tandem with our platoon mate here. And unfortunately here he is able to go ahead and snap the shot and do a bit of a high roll to take us out. But thanks to that, we are able to go ahead and finish the game off with our T-71. giving a nice GG to the enemy team because they did play it very well. As you can see, the Dracula is a very, very good tank, and anytime this tank comes up, it's definitely worth buying because not only is it strong in the meta, it's also just a very fun tank. You know, going fast is one of the great joys in World of Tanks Blitz, and this tank has definitely got that in spades. So both of us doing 2,000 damage, myself doing 21 and my platoon mate doing 22. So overall, a great game in the tank. Next up, we're going to be playing with the Kunstpanzer here on Rockfield, and this is a pretty good matchup for us. Unfortunately, we are down tiered, but the only real threat to us on the enemy team, if we play this right, is the T-49, because we can use our mobility to go ahead and flank those heavy tanks, and we have more DPM than the T-44. This might not have a ton of DPM, but it does have a very solid gun, and it has got pretty good penetration on its premium rounds, with a pretty decent armor profile. If you go fully hull down in this thing, you can bounce tier 7s and tier 8s if you try. As you can see, we are going ahead and spotting across, and we do fire into the M6, and we get spotted. So the one thing to know is the M6 does not have that much view range. So somebody is down there, one of either the mediums, so it's either the T-49 or the T-44. We have to assume that their entire team went down at this point. We have the advantage up here, so we're going to go ahead and rush into their spawn, see if we can catch anybody out before they are able to leave. And weirdly enough, their team had sent both of the T-28 HDCs down the hill. So at this point, that is who we're going to try and deal with. My teammate's in a bit of a pickle here, so my whole idea is to go ahead and focus the T-28 down so we can go ahead and take out one of their tank destroyers. After the buff, the T-28 HDC is actually not too bad, having about a 7-second reload for a 105mm gun. But if you are able to go ahead and shoot those weak points, which are those little boob-like structures on the sides of the tank, it is a pretty easy tank to take down. As you can see, we just want to press our advantage here. Our team is rushing through town, so we're using our speed and mobility to go ahead and get a spot that we can flank the 44, the HDC, and the M6 in. As you can see, it looks like their 49 went AFK. He decided to start going down, so that's probably who spotted us in the beginning there, that or the T-44. So with this nice HE pin that the Kunz has, if you're running calibrated, this has like 70 millimeters of HE pin. We are easily able to go ahead and go through light tanks and some medium tanks, potentially heavies as well. So you can see, just taking advantage of the HTC side armor and putting in a shell there. And potentially, no, doesn't look like we're going to be able to shoot the lower plate of the Emil, but that wouldn't have been a problem had the other team been out in the open. So as you can see, we're just bringing this game to a close, using our mobility to bait shots and get around tanks. This Tiger's looking at us, so we're probably going to take a shell here, shoot into his turret, and we get behind him, put on the adrenaline, and this guy is absolutely toast. We set him on fire for what looks like is going to be the last shell of the game for about 650 damage. So overall, a great tank, good mobility, decent hull down presence, and just a fantastic use of your money in these battle passes. Would definitely say that if this ever comes back up again, you guys should go ahead and take a look because it is very, very good. And if you did get it, this is definitely one of those tanks that you can grind win rate in, because as you can see, mine is up at 86%, having played 7 battles, and we're doing a pretty good average for tier 7. So I would definitely recommend this tank or the Dracula. Two very, very solid premium tanks with a lot of speed and maneuverability to boot. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. My name is BatchatBegins, and I will see you guys in the next one.